Hey, welcome back to another art book spotlight. Today we've got a book that I've had for quite a while, but I only really fully read it now. This is the Kazuo Umezz The Great Art Exhibition Catalogue. And it's a really interesting and unique catalogue because not only does it have pictures and kind of records what went down during the exhibition, but it has the entire story of Zoku Shingo, which is a collection of 101 paintings that Umezz did. That is kind of like a related story to My Name is Shingo over here. So it's a really interesting connection between the two because I can't say it's exactly a sequel. In my head, it's more of like an alternate timeline, but it was the first work that Umezz did in 27 years. So that was another big thing of why this exhibition was so important. But yeah, so to go through, rest in peace, Kazuo Umezz. He was born in 1936 and passed away in 2024. So very, very recently, actually. And the exhibit, I think, was happening in around like 2022, something like that. And so this book is an amazing book. Here's the inside of it. There might be some glare throughout because the pages are a little bit shiny. But the first section that we start off with is pretty much just an entire like collection of different essays. And the best thing about this is it's both in Japanese and English. And the English is translated quite well too. So it kind of just goes through Umezz, everything about Umezz, but at the same time, the purpose of the exhibition as well was to distinguish Umezz as an artist and not just as a mangaka. So it goes through a retrospective of Umezz's works, and the exhibition itself mainly focused on three series, so 14, The Drifting Classroom, and My Name is Shingo. So just as an example, here are some of the exhibit pieces. So this was like a really big pile of wires and displays showcasing the manga, and as well you see Satoru's bag here in reference to My Name is Shingo. It was really cool having physical installations as well as the actual art, and here is a view of it during nighttime, even better. But yeah, so Umezz started drawing Zoku Shingo around 2018, which started with the sketches. And then COVID happened, which allowed him to just fully draw the entire thing. Because initially it was going to just be sketches, and then it wasn't like there was time issues. But one good thing that came out of COVID was giving him time to really finalize everything. And so these are some examples of what the pieces looked like in person. They also had both the Japanese dialogue and the English one, and the chapter or title of each painting. And yeah, it's numbered as well. I mean, all of them go into a sequence that makes up a story, but you can also appreciate them as individual paintings in their own right, because every single one of them are very detailed. You can kind of just look at them for a while. But let's go through the story. The story itself, I would say, is like, it's the best if you have read My Name is Shingo. So this will go into full spoilers of the Zoku Shingo series. So I guess I won't go into full detail. And I'll try to hold the book up like this so it prevents the glare. But yeah, so we start off with, this is the title page. So the characters of My Name is Shingo are Marin and Satoru, and here they are. This is just the first volume of My Name is Shingo, the original. And in this Zoku Shingo story, it's following the same thing, but instead of two human kids, it's two robot children, as you can see there. So Marin and Satoru as well. So just as an example, that's the painting number, the chapter, the painting title, and then the dialogue. So all of these, and what's cool is I'll show at the end, they also have the like original sketch versions of these before they were colored in. And even in these paintings, you can see the dialogue written in at the end. But I guess to go over the general story, because I'm not going to do it like page by page, the general story is we have this doctor here by the name of Dr. Mori, who finds a robot here who he picks up and repairs. His memory's gone. So that robot he names Satoru because the shoe that he finds him with has the label on it. And some cool parts as well of the book is that sometimes you get close-ups of the paintings as well. But as you can see, each painting is very detailed and the color is so expressive. Like the color palette there, it's just super varied throughout, and it's super nice to look at. But essentially, we start off with Satoru, and Dr. Mori has a job that he has to go to. He has to go to this mansion. And in this mansion, a couple of weird people, specifically a person by the name of Queen Madam. And so at Queen Madam's mansion, that's essentially where you meet this other robot by the name of Marin. And this is Queen Madam here. So she's kind of like a weird overlord type thing. And I guess the main plot point of this is that the two, Marin and Satoru, they have like communicated through like drawings. Like she would make drawings and he would kind of like catch wind of it in his head. Like there's something that connects the two. And so she always found herself drawing this human face, which is actually the face of the original Satoru in My Name is Shingo. And the goal of Queen Madam is to pretty much like stay eternal and have like a young face, that sort of thing, because she's also a robot as well. Everyone here is a robot, I think, except for Dr. Mori. But yeah, so the journey continues on from there. We have a lot of grotesque looking slave robots as well. And it's kind of like from this point, it deviates from, you know, the original premise of My Name is Shingo. But there are numerous references throughout. I believe at this point in time, the English releases of My Name is Shingo have maybe 3 or 4 volumes out of the 6 that is planned. So that's why I'm not going to go through too much spoilers. I mean, you can see the dialogue on screen, so if you'd like, you can read through that. But yeah, in my opinion, reading through and completing My Name is Shingo is a nice way to experience it because you can call back to all these different moments in the story. So we've got this giant Rubik's Cube. They head up into this big theater. This is like a triptych series. And it's kind of going to like different prophecies where the humans are. They've essentially ascended, and there's like robot walls, and it's absolutely insane. Composition of the paintings are so chaotic and so well laid out. Like this is one of my favorite pieces, to be honest. Yeah, I think I did show this book in like, it's probably been more than a year, just like a haul video. And I did start reading it at one point, but I kind of just had other things to read too, so it fell off my radar for a bit. But finally I did read it, and it was a nice timing because I enjoyed it a lot as well. So we have a lot of chaotic scenes here of robot creatures, like bodyguards trying to find these two. I'm not going to spoil why they're climbing up a tower, but if you read Shingo, then it's kind of like that. Not exactly like that, but kind of like that. So another reference here. And spoilers incoming. You've got these angels or humans turning into these disgusting looking monsters. Another one of my favorite panels here. so we're almost at the end. Here it is, 101. So not to spoil anything as well, like if you're not looking at the dialogue, if you just want to look at the pictures, the ending reminds me a lot of the Drifting Classroom, and it's also something that they mention in the essays as well. But yeah, I won't spoil that too much, but it makes sense for an ending too. It's also quite open-ended as well. So we have more sections of the physical installations done by other artists and their renditions and interpretations of Umezz's works. And so the next section we'll go through is here we go, this is the sketches. So these are the original sketches of the Zoku Shingo series, and for each of them you see information about them, but really cool to see the sketches. I mean, keep in mind again, this was the first work that Umezz did in 27 years. So he was retired and he came back to do this final piece, an amazing, I think, final piece for his all the work that he's done throughout his career. And so I do really appreciate that we have these as well on top of the paintings, the fully fledged paintings that we get. But yeah, going through Umezz is again one of my favorite mangaka of all time, not just only in horror manga, but just manga in general. My Name is Shingo and God's Left Hand, Devil's Right Hand are some of my favorite series of all time. It's very tough for me still to pick a favorite from him, but there's just so many things about his work that make me fall in love with it. It's super ambitious for one thing. I think for especially like sci-fi and horror works, to have so much creative direction and to have such a big scale in terms of the events of the story, like 14, My Name is Shingo, the scale of things and how they affect like just humanity as a whole is really cool to see, and how Umezz handles it with his composition and his art as well, as like how detailed, how gory it is. Undisputed master of manga, I feel. Like even his more I would put in like, you know, quotation marks, traditional works like Hebi Onna or Snake Woman, I really enjoy that too, because that was one of the works as well that really propelled horror manga in the industry too. So it's like, makes sense. It's the range that he has, like I love all of it. I still have not explored most of his works because, you know, he has so much, especially his earlier stuff, and I think that slowly I will get to him because there's other master what's it called, masterpiece collection, perfection edition, sorry. There's more perfection edition volumes that I haven't got yet, like for example Wish, or there's like an Insect House one that I still haven't read. But yeah, and he's also done kaiju stuff as well, which I have not touched at all. So again, going back to the range that he has. And another thing too is that a lot of his works, they do focus on children, the perspective of children, how they react to really traumatic events, and he does not hold back. Like, just because they're children doesn't mean like, you know, they're gonna get away scot-free from the stuff that happens in his works. So these panels as well, these are from 14. 14 was a crazy one. I guess 14 was a little bit rushed though. The ending of it was not my thing. Also on screen here is a list of like the biography, and let me actually go to the English. There's an English version as well of this. Here we go. We've got a biography on the left and events of the same era on the right. So what was happening in the world at the time. So born 1936, and then we have very useful pictures as well of the different releases that he put out, old Kashihon releases and just everything in general. But yeah, coming back to what I was saying with the stories, they're all from like a child's perspective, and it just makes it really interesting because, you know, it's a kid. They see the world differently, they react differently to things, and there's also always like an adult to contrast the perspective with. So it's just so good. It's so good. I mean, the only critique or small criticism that I have is just that it's not even a big one anyways. It's just that some of the earlier works, sometimes the paneling can be a little bit standard. Like there's not too much experimentation with how panels are laid out, but it's a very small thing because the art itself, you know, really makes up for it. But yeah, another afterword here, just a lengthy section, and then credits, and final section. This is the back cover. But yeah, this was the Great Art Exhibition catalog. It was like put around a couple of different places in Japan. So yeah, a couple of years ago that they did this. This book itself, I believe, came out probably close to that time, I think. Yes, the first edition was put out in 2022. So this is the first edition. I believe there are reprints. I'm not too entirely sure how many reprints there are of this because 2022 wasn't that long ago, to be honest, in terms of reprints anyways. But yeah, it's in terms of the story and relating it back to My Name is Shingo, I really love the conversation between the two and how it's like it really enhances the experience of Kazuo Umezz's like world and his characters when you have like this alternate timeline connecting to the original story, but at the same time not being a direct sequel. I mean, you can look at it as a sequel if you want, you know, it's up to you, it's art. But in my head, it's just really cool to see it as like an alternate story as well. So yeah, it's an expensive book though. Costs more than $100 because it's a thick one, but a very well made book as well. So I think it is worth the price, but you just have to keep in mind the price of the book and the shipping too. So it's pretty heavy of a book. And coming back to Shingo, really recommend Shingo if you had maybe started reading it, but you felt like it was a bit slow. That's normal because it is a bit of a slow burn of a story. It really builds up towards the, I would say, the even midpoint, even the second volume as well. So first volume is, nothing really happens, but I highly recommend continuing on with that because you will experience a story that is extremely ambitious and unique when it comes to the world of sci-fi and especially manga too. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Glad that I could finally show this off after so long of it just sitting on my desk. But yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.